Hello, Vinyl community. This is Randy. Back to do another video. I made a video a few days ago, where I showed some records I picked up, and I showed this Flo and Eddie record. I mentioned in that video that Flo and Eddie were, their real names are Mark Volman and Howard Kalin. They were the two singers for the Turtles, and they'd also worked with Frank Zappa some. So I figured I would show you my Turtles collection. The Turtles are one of my favorite bands from the 60s. I put them in sort of a separate category of a vocalist band, so I think of them along with the Mamas and the Papas as being one of my favorite bands from the 60s that are sort of more pop-oriented, than rock and roll oriented, I suppose. The bands are kind of similar in that they both had quite a few hits in the 1960s, but I mean, I think they're both best known for two songs. I think the Mamas and the Papas are California Dreamin' and Monday Monday, and the Turtles are best known for She'd Rather Be With Me and Happy Together, but they both had several other hits too. So I'm going to show you my collection of Turtles stuff here. I got this video a while back. This is I think this is a Rhino home video. Yeah, Rhino video, the Turtles, Happy Together, DVD, and I'm not really sure what year this came out. There's not much in the way of an insert, that's all there is. It just shows the, so it's narrated by Mark Volman and Howard Kalin, and it tells the whole story of the Turtles. Doesn't really get into any of their stuff as Flo and Eddie, doesn't really mention Frank Zappa. But it's a really good documentary. Highly recommend that. It's really, the narration is really good. It's very humorous all the way through, and they tell the whole story. And a lot of what they talk about is their contract problems. They had a lot of contract problems, and that's what led to their assuming the names of Flo and Eddie. They were given that name by Frank Zappa when they were touring with the Mothers, and I guess they recorded some with the Mothers, and the contract that they'd had with White Whale Records prevented them from using the name the Turtles, and they couldn't use their own names either. So Frank Zappa came up with the Fluorescent Leads for Mark Volman and Eddie for Howard Kalin. So, but yeah, just to say at the beginning, yeah, this DVD tells me that this band started out in high school, and actually, I think it was 5 of the members went to the same high school, and they were in the same a cappella group in their high school music department. So I mean, I think that's kind of unusual for such a big band to really be people were in high school together. And then they picked up, I think, another guy before they actually recorded their first record, but they started out being called the Crossfires. They were an instrumental surf band, and Howard and Mark both played sax in that instrumental surf band, but then later on they started singing. So their first album, they did change their name to the Turtles. For a while, they changed it to the Turtles, T-Y-R-T-L-E-S, kind of like the Byrds, B-Y-R-D-S, or even the Beatles. The spelling is not really like a bug, the Beatle. But they did change it back to the Turtles. And their first album is Ain't Me, Babe. So they did have a hit on this album, which was It Ain't Me, Babe, Bob Dylan song. Sort of like what had happened with the Byrds, a West Coast band that adopted that folk, really more straightforward folk, but sort of the folk rock sound, and had a hit with the Dylan song. They also recorded on here Love Minus Zero and Like a Rolling Stone. So they were one of the earlier interpreters of Bob Dylan. And here's pictures of them, and it's just really kind of hard to recognize them. There's Mark Volman right there. So they really look different. After that, they had an album called, oh gosh, I didn't write it down, but they had another album after that, which didn't have any hit songs on it. Here's the label for that first one, White Whale Records. Is who they were signed to, a West Coast label. But their third album was Happy Together. And on that third album, they had several big hits with songs that were written by Alan Gordon and Gary Bonner. So Happy Together and She'd Rather Be With Me. And I think they also wrote a couple other hit songs. I think I can't remember what they were right now. So Happy Together was a huge hit and went to #1 in the U.S. It was the Turtles' only #1 hit. And She'd Rather Be With Me, I think it said it went up to I think it made the top 10. She'd Rather Be With Me actually did better in England than Happy Together did. After that, they released their first compilation album, Turtles' Golden Hits. So this has 11 songs on it. And this is a really good compilation. I would recommend this one, except that there's only 11 songs on it, and they've got a lot more hits that came along later. So I like that cover and everything. That is also on White Whale Records. Here's one of my favorite hit songs they did, Can I Get to Know You Better? Fantastic song. Oh, I meant to mention, in the original lineup, the original bass player quit, and he was replaced by a guy named Chip Douglas. Chip Douglas, and that is not his real name. His real name was, once again, I didn't write it down, Douglas something. And he used the name Chip Douglas. I just wondered about that. He started in '62 recording, playing with modern folk group or something like that. And when I think of Chip Douglas, I think of My Three Sons and the middle son. Chip Douglas, Robbie Douglas' younger brother, Ernie's older brother, Chip Douglas. And so I just wondered if he adopt that name, because it was, I guess it was a pretty well-known name in the United States in the early '60s. It was a pretty popular TV show. But either way, he adopted that name. He was their bass player. And there's a story about when they were playing at the Whiskey, and Mike Nesmith from the Monkees saw him playing, and he asked Chip Douglas if he wanted to produce the Monkees. So Chip stopped playing bass for the Turtles at that point, and produced the Monkees. He produced 3 albums for the Monkees. Those were Pisces, Aquarius, and that one. And then another one called the Birds and the Bees, the Monkees, I think. And then there was a third one he produced for them. And he'd also produced some of the hit songs for the Turtles. So Chip Douglas, but he wasn't there anymore. So anyway, they did after that Happy Together album. They released this one, The Battle of the Bands. This is a really cool album. It's a concept album in which the band, there they are in a whole bunch of different costumes, and you might want to pause and read. So there are a whole bunch of different bands, and so they sing in a lot of different styles. This record didn't really do too well in the charts, but it is a very cool record, and I like just the pictures and the names of the band. There's some very cool songs on here too, like Eleanor, and Eleanor I think is the big one, but let's see. Buzzsaw is actually a really cool song on here. Oh yeah, You Showed Me. Yeah, You Showed Me is the other big hit. That's Eleanor and You Showed Me. You Showed Me is an incredibly cool song. It's written by Gene Clark and Roger McGuinn that the Byrds sang, but they did a very sort of an upbeat version, and the Turtles slowed it down and gave it sort of a mysterious sound. So really cool. Buzzsaw is basically an instrumental song. It's a very cool sounding, almost like a heavy metal song or something. Very cool sounding instrumental. So Battle of the Bands. After that, they released another golden hits record. More golden hits. As you showed me on it. So, here's the two. You can see the players are in the same places, but they're older. That's pretty cool. I'll tell you an interesting thing about this one is I bought this one used. I found it at Phonolux and I brought it home. This record just has an incredibly good sound. I mean, it's actually really noticeable when you put it on. It just has really good sound. It's nice and loud and clear. So, I don't know why. I guess it's just a really good pressing for some reason. But it's also on white. Well, if I were going to get a record, if I didn't have any Turtles right now, though, and I were to get one, I would just get, because all their studio albums, well, I really haven't heard them all. I've got a couple of them, and I mean, they're pretty good and everything, but really, I think the greatest hits, you're safe with the greatest hits, and this is the one I would get, because this has 20 songs on it. 20 songs. This is an Australian on Telmac. Australian issue on Telmac from 1983. So there's the track listing. So this really just has all the songs. Here's You Showed Me. This is just really one of the coolest songs.
You showed me how to do exactly what you do, how I fell in love with you. Oh, it's true.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, this is an Australian compilation. Lots of information, detailed information, so very cool there. A lot of good pictures. Yeah, 20 songs on there. And the only thing that's missing on here is you don't get a version of Guide for the Married Man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you do get it. It's number 8 on side 1. So, yeah, Guide for the Married Man. I just want to mention that song because that was a soundtrack song that they did in like 1967 or something for a movie starring Walter Matthau and Robert Morse. And it's really funny. I've seen it a long time ago. I'm a big Walter Matthau fan. So, really cool movie. You might want to check that out. I'm sure it's very dated. But yeah, if you're a Walter Matthau fan, I'm sure you would enjoy that one. In 2009, they released this album called Save the Turtles. Another compilation album, and the proceeds from this went to a foundation to save some turtles. So charitable thing. And this is one I got when I went to the Happy Together tour, and this is also signed Mark Volman and Howard Kalin. So yeah, I showed this box of singles I got at the same event, so I didn't get to meet them. They weren't out there signing them. They had signed them in advance. But either way, I was glad to get them. Yes, this is a good compilation. I would recommend this one too. I mean, this has quite a few songs on it, 16 songs. If you can find that Australian one, that's probably the best one. This is on Flow Edco Records. Flow Edco, so they sort of adopted that Flo and Eddie name for their record company. I do have one single. I got this a long time ago. I got this at a garage sale, I think. Well, it has a sticker on it. With that sticker, I can't remember, so maybe I didn't get it at a garage sale. I'm not sure where I got it. Surfer Dan is the flip side. Eleanor. Excellent song. And the last record I will show you is one that they released in 2013, I believe it was. This is the Turtle 66. So this just went back and compiled some B-sides and, well, actually some of these are the songs that were on the albums too, like Outside Chance, Can I Get to Know You Better? But otherwise these are sort of like different songs. They're all in mono. Some of their earlier songs. Another picture of the band when they were very young. Yep. So that's it. That's also on Floedco Records. Yeah. So that's it. I guess we'll have a needle drop now, and I think it will probably be Eleanor, one of the top songs, but not one of the first two, the best known ones. So Eleanor. So that's it. My brief retrospective of the Turtles. So let me know what you think, and hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for watching.
You gotta think about you. I just can't live without you. I really want you, Eleanor, near me. Your looks intoxicate me, even though your folks hate me. There's no one like you, Eleanor, really. Eleanor, gee, I think you're swell, and you really do me well. You're my pride and joy, etc. Eleanor, can I take the time to ask you to speak your mind? Tell me that you love me better. I really think you're groovy. Let's go out to a movie.